Show your appreciation on the pitch. Show your appreciation by going through someone, putting your head on the line, getting six stitches in your head.
You've got to save your energy to repair that fence.
I need to save my energy now. I'm getting all worked.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we're saying.
We got to wrap
this up. You get farm work to be done when you get back.
Yeah. This is Park the Bus with Stephen Caldwell, Kevin Kilbane and Luke Wileman.
Back into Graham Leggett's for another edition of Park the Bus, and great to have the big man back in studio this week.
I always feel like we do miss him. We say at the start, and it's kind of like a throwaway line, but it's true. We do miss you, and we miss you last week. It was nice to have you on video call.
Exactly, and he was off in, if no one was aware last week, he joined us from Japan and South Korea.
Yes.
Well, he couldn't have joined us from both. He joined us from Korea.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. You joined us, you were in Japan, then you went to South Korea, and that's where you joined us from.
Guys, I was so tired when I did that podcast.
I thought you were great.
Exhausted, and when I looked back
Tired and
and saw my eyes, honestly, I looked a little bit worse for wear, but I swear
there's an old comment, I use that a lot. Someone was drunk and he got up the night before, and his statement was, I was tired and emotional.
I love you guys that much. I actually missed the pub to be on the pod.
Did you? Yeah.
I came, and I got ready in my room, and I looked exhausted, but it was a pleasure to join you, but I miss Graham Leggett's, that's for sure.
You couldn't tell that you were emotional, tired, exhausted, whatever it was. I thought you did a pretty good job.
Thanks, Luke.
And we also showed last week on the screen, you dressed in the kilt and then you dressed in the kimono.
Yeah.
And we asked people to come in with some feedback. We had a couple of people at caps.allin on Twitter. Both looks are fire, but the kilt wins. Thanks for the great content. Love hearing about the Caps, of course. So we talked a lot about them last week, and
I forgot
Sebastian
before seeing
Berholt
that
was
picture. How good you looked in the kilt, to be fair.
I looked well, didn't I?
He did look smart.
Very good.
Kimono not as good. Too baggy.
I'm not saying that. It's just not as smart, is it? You just look...
It's dead comfy, the kimono.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. Enjoyed that.
Really?
Yeah.
We had that picture of the kilt, I think, was from the Euros, right?
Yeah.
When Scotland were in, obviously it wouldn't be the World Cup. So the picture was from the Euros. Actually, something came up a few days ago on one of my feeds from one of the very first shows you did back in 2016. Were you doing Euro 2016?
Yes. Yeah, parts of it.
We had the track pants on.
We did.
Remember?
Kirali.
Kirali.
I played with a guy. He was Kirali when I played with him.
You called him worse than that, didn't you?
Probably.
So one of the shows... I think it was me, you, and Jason DeVos. And we started the show because they were playing that day. Karai was playing. We had his track.
It was brilliant.
I'd gone out it was a Saturday show.
Did you have the grey one?
Yeah. I'd gone out on a Friday night and gone to Walmart and bought all these different sizes and types of track pants, and we
had our boots on, the grey trackies, suit, shirt and tie, and suit jacket.
Very good. Very good.
Good one. We'll show you that after.
I'll have to see that picture.
So the trip. You've had a good experience of a completely different footballing culture. You'd also been to Japan a couple of years ago with Canada.
Yes.
Right? So how are they looking forward to the World Cup out there?
They're looking forward to it. You know, it's such a huge city, Tokyo, which is where we were located, that you don't see tons of references for football. It's more a general city. They love their baseball there as well, but there is fans, there is football fans, and there is an environment.
Bandwagon jumpers on the
a lot of Man U tops and stuff like that. Oh yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Him with the Jays. Is that what you're meaning? Okay.
No, I was going to say he was watching the World Series in Japan.
Yeah, that's a nice
9 a.m.
experience.
9 a.m. in the morning. Pub was packed as well. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyway, big football country, but not a ton of reference about it. In the streets, more English Premier League tops. We did go to this amazing sports store that was full of memorabilia, different J-League teams, and then a lot of Japan gear as well. But they're a good team. I mean, when we played them 2 years ago, they were exceptional, Kev. They were on an unbelievable run at that time. They beat Germany. They beat us convincingly. Canada at the time, 4-1, I think it was, wasn't it? And I mean, they got Matoma. They got a few guys that are kind of stars, let's say, but they don't have that global star. They're more just solid players, Bundesliga, Premier League, La Liga, guys that are playing at a high level, Kev. I don't know how far they can go next summer, but they can certainly beat the big boys on their day.
It'll get round to the World Cup again. We'll absolutely be talking about them as upsetters rather than go on and win it. I don't think they'll probably get to a last 8, a last 4 maybe. That will be the absolute peak for them. But they can upset and they can play. I remember I was in Russia actually. Was it Korea they put Spain out. Sorry, Germany out.
Germany, yeah.
Germany.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was at the match. I was actually in the game doing the match. And I remember the quality that they play with, the speed, the speed that they play. And so both Japan and South Korea are going to be strong. We know that. And I think you've seen South Korea recently as well, Luke, haven't you? You know the quality that they've got.
And Japan, in fact, that September window, the first game the US played was against South Korea, and they got torn apart by South Korea. In fact, Whitecaps' Tristan Blackman was playing that day. And they got torn apart. Son was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, even we've seen him what he's doing in MLS with LAFC, but even at that international level, they look so good. And then Japan, the following game, they played Mexico the first game, I think, and then they made 11 changes for that second game, and still looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think either of those teams, if Canada were to get drawn against either of them, I'm not sure Canada would be favourites.
No, it'd be tough. Not at all. Not against either of the teams. They're a kind of team where if you watch it on the edge of everything, you can see they're decent, they're okay, and when you go into the details and you prepare for them, like we did, obviously as a coaching staff, you're like, oh my, these are quite special, and you see obviously I was focusing on our back line, so looking at their forwards, they had some terrific players. Actually, a guy at Feyenoord that's keeping Kilbane at the team in Ueda, who is so good, 5'8", Kev, holds the ball up, so strong, capable of bringing people into play, gets goals, gets double-figure goals, has a kind of complete game, and there's a few like that that are kind of unsung heroes, but playing at good clubs all around Europe. Korea as well have stars everywhere, and obviously Son being the biggest, so you don't want to play them.
No,
They're always fit.
The other thing South Korea were doing that was causing problems is on the press.
Yeah.
Like, they are relentless.
And that started in 2002, Luke, with Hiddink. Remember that, Kev?
I remember it, yes. I remember
and the word that we were getting in, Kev will probably remember this, we heard that they were the training regime that Hiddink was putting them through.
He pulled them out of the clubs.
Yeah.
So they were training like a club team.
Right.
4 months before the World Cup. I think it was from February onwards. Gus Hiddink had them training every day as a team together. Obviously, a few additions coming in, injuries aside, but a majority of that squad had worked day in, day out together prior to that World Cup. So that was how it worked.
And what they were capable of doing physically, which set them up for that success in that World Cup. We used to play these 4v4s, Luke, in training, Kev. Remember, it would be a fitness exercise.
One-on-ones.
4v4, so it would end up being these 1v1s within a sort of 40 by 40 pitch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you would play maybe 4 or 5 of them, and it would be like 4-minute games, exhausted.
Yeah.
These guys were playing 20
minute games?
3-minute games. They're playing 20 4v4s, 3-minute games. They'd have breaks, they'd block them up. But that's what we heard at the time, and we were like, we couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then when you saw them at the World Cup, you could tell that they were the fittest team in the tournament. And they've kind of kept that. That is in their makeup. That's their identity, isn't it? As players, they are very capable of getting around the field. So they've kept that going, and that's their strength, isn't it?
It's interesting how you see some coaches have their own thing that they like to do. And you mentioned that, the 4v4s or whatever. Marcelo Bielsa, when he was at Leeds, was always talking about this murder ball that they used to do.
Yeah.
And I think it was maybe once a week or once every couple of weeks. But they would have 11 aside, people all around the pitch with the balls ready to throw them back in, no stoppages, no free kicks, just like play.
Away you go,
Play.
Yeah, I know.
And you play how you train. If you train like that, you do get better. At Wigan, we always did large 1v1s. It'd be Rodallega and Zogbia, quality players, and Franco De Santo. And they'd be running at you in vast spaces, and it was very difficult, but you got better at 1v1s. And certainly my game improved by training like that, because the way that we played under Roberto Martinez, we were very open, so there was a lot of space. So
didn't you just tack them down?
No, I tried to kick them back. We used to play these weird little possessions in the middle of the park, Kevin. You'd get 6 passes, and then it'd be a ball out wide, and it'd be a 3v2. You'd only have maybe 6-8 seconds to score, but it'd be 2 defenders trying to defend 3 guys coming at you like the Red Arrows. Would be so fast.
It's interesting at Wigan as well. What we used to do, something similar sort of scenarios to usually, you'd peak on a weekend, obviously going into a game. Monday, downtime as much, but still with high intensity. Tuesday and the Wednesday would have been the real high intensity days for training. And Paul Jewell, what used to do forfeits.
Right.
For everything, forfeits. So it would have been high intensity, whether it would be say it was a keep ball session, or say in 4-on-4s.
Yeah.
The team that lost would do laps.
Right.
So the teams that were losing, you never catch up, could you?
Yeah,
You obviously,
so it's competitive.
teams got the rest, so you
don't want to lose.
Never. It was these were. These were off the scale. Yeah.
I'm just having horrible flashbacks now. You mentioned the name of Paul Jewell. He was the Sheffield Wednesday manager. I was young in my radio career, early 20s, going in to interview Paul Jewell, who had a bit of a reputation for being a difficult, prickly person.
Sheffield mention again. There you go.
It's my own fault. My phone went off during the interview.
That's so unprofessional.
Schoolboy error. Schoolboy error. Don't let that happen again. I'm like, okay, right. So I was gone. My mind was gone for the rest of the interview.
You were gone probably. Whenever you met Paul Jewell, you probably kept your head down every time.
And everybody else you talked to, because he used to do some punditry work as well for some of the BBC. Yeah. And they'd be like, oh, Paul Jewell, Jagger, what a great guy. Paul Jewell, and I'm like, every time anyone mentions him. So I'm just getting flashbacks. But when you mentioned they're kicking people 1v1, did you two ever play against each other?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Stevie's Premier League debut was against me, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Premier League debut for Newcastle.
Newcastle.
His first start.
Sunderland, Newcastle.
Newcastle, Sunderland.
Oh, big game.
Did he kick you?
Infamous game.
No,
or famous for Sunderland,
game,
infamous for Newcastle.
Yeah. Shearer missed a penalty last few minutes of that match. No, because he was a centre half, I was a winger, wasn't
I know,
he? So
but
we
still,
didn't really get close.
Cutting inside, and
you know what? I was actually playing. We played a 3 that game, and I played the right side of 3.
Did you really?
We played Rob Lee as sweeper in that game.
Is that right?
Bobby was experimenting with Rob Lee as a kind of middle of a 3. And I believe it was Aaron Hughes in the left, me in the right.
Just say, interestingly enough, it was the Old Firm game this weekend. I don't know if anyone watched the Celtic Rangers game. So I didn't watch it. I watched bits of it. But they were saying the only thing that's comparable in the Premier League, really, for the intensity, is Newcastle Sunderland. It's the only one that you might argue Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, Merseyside derby could be thrown in North London, but that intensity in that game is outrageous. It is outrageous. It's great that it's back as a Premier League fixture this season, but
can't wait to see it.
Luke, unbelievable game. What a game
The story I always tell about that game is, at the start of the game, it was so loud. I can remember shouting at Gary Speed. He was like 6 yards away from me, and he couldn't hear me unless he looked at my lips. He had to read my lips. It was so loud on the field. So no messages were getting on. Very difficult to communicate with players. It was unbelievable.
I have to say, I'm a bit disappointed that you played on the left, he played on the right of a 3.
We can't remember.
I can't remember too much interaction. I tell you what I do remember, actually. I played centre forward in a reserve game. I was coming back from injury for Sunderland.
He always tells this story. I can't remember.
I've not heard this one.
He don't remember it. So I was coming back from injury, so it's kind of like you get a game, and all the team was set up, so it was like...
I like how he says, by the way, it's the reserves. I was coming back from injury.
Yeah, and I was
basically
trying to get a game.
He was in the reserves.
And it's true.
He was a kid. He was just coming into the game, wasn't he? So, but they said to me, like, can you just go up front, run around, get fitness or whatever it would be? And I was against Big Stevie, and he absolutely smashed me. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing here? Like, he did smash me. He come off the top of me, I think he punched me in the back of the head, and he's like, and then he just kind of laughed at me, and I kind of thought, all right, fair play. And it was just admirable. Obviously, I tried to get him back with an elbow. I was straight up to the next one, but it was.
So the other famous story of the St James's game that you'll love, Kev, because a very good mate of yours involved, is Niall Quinn scored one of the most famous goals in
unbelievable header
in Tyne-Wear derby. Unbelievable header. And I was supposed to be back from corners, but we talked this morning in the green room about pressure when you go into these games and you're young, you're inexperienced. And I went up instead of staying back. We had a wide free kick or something, and I was up there.
Yeah.
And, whenever the ball comes in and it breaks down the left, and I'm running back. And Quinny's ahead of me by 5 or 6 yards. I think it was Michael Gray was going down the left.
Quinny wasn't that hard to catch, though.
No, and I'm trying to get back to Quinny. So I'm making up yards on Quinny, and I'm getting back, and the ball comes in from Michael Gray, and I'm almost at Quinny. So I'm literally 2 yards behind the most famous header in Tyne-Wear derby history. And he headers this thing, and our mate, Shea Given, was in goals.
It's about 12 yards out, like amazing header.
And he headers this thing, and I'm right behind it. I've got the best view in the stadium. And it's outside the post by 2 yards, and I'm saying, please don't go in, please don't go in. And it's bending the whole time. It swerves. It's that good a header. It swerves and goes in the top corner. And I'm like, oh my God, I should never have went up for that corner. And I got the best view of that goal that anybody could ever have. It was unbelievable.
We were talking about the other week, there was Alistair Johnson. When you come back for games, you do things sometimes in the heat of the moment that you don't realise. You guys call a lot of games and you go, what's he doing there? Bobby Robson would have said the same to you. Why are you going up, son? What are you doing? Because you do things sometimes and 9 times out of 10, your team get you out of it. Your teammates get you out of it. When it doesn't, when that's for you, you know about it, don't you?
And that's a big thing heading towards the World Cup next summer. Because there are a lot of players, and some when you're doing race for the roster and we're talking about who's picked in Jesse Marsch's squad or the 11, you think about players who've played at a World Cup before. Because we don't know. Really, you can have a guess at how some players have played in big games. Players have played at big clubs, but until they step out on game one of a home World Cup at BMO Field, we've really got no idea how they're going to cope with everything that is going to be.
This guy knows.
Honestly, I always say to you guys, like playing for Ireland was on a different level. Played for some intense clubs, obviously Sunderland, Everton, West Brom. Around big games. Talk about these games. Nothing compared to playing for your national side, because the scrutiny that's on you every single game. Now, a lot of the Canada players historically over their careers wouldn't have, before Qatar, they wouldn't really have had any scrutiny. It'd have been turn up, play the game, go home, and no one's.
Well, even Qatar was a different level to what this will be next summer, because I also think the expectation was different. The expectation was different on that Canada squad going into Qatar.
It was a free hit in Qatar,
than it will be next summer.
Yeah, I know. It's exactly right. And what I was just going to say with in comparison to getting into the international setup, I always remember. I made my debut against Iceland, but when you start to establish yourself over time, the home games in Ireland, so we'd leave our hotel and we'd get a police escort, and as we're driving through Dublin, literally every house on our route, the supporters knew your route, flags out. You used to get that feeling of a buzz, but almost sinking in your seat, wow, this is what it's all about. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people out in the high-rise flats with flags, come on Ireland, all these sort of things. And you realise what you're part of. And that's what's going to be like next year for these guys. Wall-to-wall coverage of TV. You switch on the news, you switch on the radio, whatever you're watching, not just us guys. It's everyone that wants to talk about the World Cup. That puts it on a different level. And you've got somebody coming on to say Alistair Johnson shouldn't be playing at right back. Someone else is playing ahead of him. They've never had it before, you know. And then it gets in your head. It gets in your head, Luke, and this is a different level.
Yeah, I mean, it's conflicting jobs, isn't it? If you're a player, you don't want to listen to guys like us. You switch it off because you've got to be so focused. But our job is to assess and to analyse and to go through it all and to scrutinise, really, to a crazy level. Understanding, because we've went through it, understanding how difficult it is.
Well, one of the biggest areas that is going to be is in goal. Okay, and you mentioned a great goalkeeper, Shea Given, a few minutes ago, and it segues to Dayne St and Maxime Crépeau and their battle for the #1 job. When you think about what will probably be standing, as a goalkeeper, you're standing in goal at BMO Field, waiting for the first whistle to go in the opening game of the World Cup, and then how do you cope with that? Now, Dayne St this week has won MLS Goalkeeper of the Year award. So congrats to Dayne St on that one. Obviously, the battle is going to go on for some time. Jesse Marsch did say that he thought Dayne St was the best goalkeeper in MLS this season. I mean, it's an individual award. I know how much you love those, Kev, but credit Dayne St for winning it.
Yeah, of course. What are you trying to say? Anyone gets individual awards. You deserve them. It's an amazing accolade that he's considered, and you can't really argue with it.
The stats say he deserves it.
You can throw a few names out along the way that could compete, but he's had a very, very good season, and it's absolutely what's got in Jesse Marsch's head why he's playing ahead of Max Crépeau, because it's gone horribly wrong for him over there in Portland. But I go back to this one, what we were talking on there, on the pressure side of it as well with St Clair. I don't think he's handled those really pressurised moments. It's okay, and again, it's not been disrespectful to Minnesota or anything like that. There's no pressure on him playing for Minnesota. At any stage, he goes out and he does his thing, he plays the game, goes home. It's done. Week to week, it's done. When he then will be playing, because I expect him probably to be announced as Canada's #1 in the next few months. He's probably going to be ahead of those March games. When that's happened, I think there's even more pressure on him then, that he has then got to deliver. He's then, in his own mind, he's got to be going through, his own process, what he's doing for games and how he's going to come and take crosses, he's got to make the saves and all these sort of things. As soon as something goes wrong, that's when it's going to be more scrutiny on him. So
we're not going to know in March.
Oh,
no, we're not going to know in March.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think we'll know till 4 days before, 2 days before.
That's hot. Well,
but is that a problem?
I think that's a problem.
It is.
I think that's
if you're a defender playing for whoever and you don't know who your number one keeper is...
I'll make this statement, though, now. I think if it's not announced in March, I think it kills both goalkeepers.
Yeah?
I think that's hard on them, yeah. Because you're not the number one goalkeeper going into... You're not knowing that you've got the next window.
Because he knows he's behind.
Yes, maybe... But all right, then. It'll kill St Clair, then, yeah, I probably agree with that. St Clair has to know, and I think it'd be good for him to know that if he makes a mistake, then that mistake, he's still number one. He's fine. He's still going to open up in Toronto. If that's not announced until 40 hours before the game, I think that's... No, I can't. I don't think Jesse Marsch will do that. I really don't think he'll do that.
I'm surprised by that, because I just had no... I wouldn't have even thought that anywhere near March we'd know who Canada's starting keeper was. And you even talked about not locking anyone in probably until like the roster comes out.
I won't lock anybody. Yeah. Well, unless Jesse comes out and says so.
No, but even Jesse said Tajon Buchanan should be locked in.
And I still never locked him. Yeah, when I should have really. But no, I just don't think that. There's two things going on here. There's a goalkeeper that's in form. He's just proved that by winning goalkeeper of the year, and then there's another goalkeeper who's not in club form, but keeps delivering for the national team.
Yeah.
And he's someone that just has something intangible about him when he plays for Canada, that the team play better and it brings out the best in him. And that, for me, is in the back of Jesse Marsch's mind all the time. And so I just don't see there being a scenario where that changes unless Crépeau doesn't get the move that he wants, or he gets the move and then it's just not as bad at the next club or something like that, and it just becomes abundantly clear that St Clair's the number one. If that doesn't happen and Crépeau does get the move and he's playing some games and he's in some kind of form, I still think Jesse Marsch will be undecided, Kev.
Some might argue now that it's abundantly clear that Dayne St Clair is number one from what he's done this season. Yeah. So this is where it's going to be... Whatever decision will be made, people have their own thoughts on who it should be anyway, regardless of that. But I think, honestly, I go back to it, I think he absolutely has to be in those March games. I think certainly by the end of those two games, we have to know. For him, for Dayne St Clair, I think I just don't see him. If it's announced 48 hours before, and the hype, can you imagine, as I said before, it's okay us talking about it, but the news team, they're down there. Well, the big talking point this week is Dayne St Clair, and he's seeing that on the news, radio, newspapers.
He's got to switch it off.
Everywhere. Well, he can't do it. Well, he can't do it. His family can't switch it off. His family will be talking to him about it.
So what about this window, Luke?
They split games again, surely?
I don't think so. I'll tell you what I think will happen. St Clair will start the first game at BMO, and if it goes really well for him, I think he starts the second game as well.
Well, if he starts two, then he's number one, isn't he?
Why would he change that now? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think if he starts both games, then he's the number one.
I think at some point it would be wise of Jesse Marsch to give one of these guys, and it has to be St Clair because he's in pole position, the opportunity to prove that they're number one.
If that's the case, then I think he'll announce it after.
But then you're assuming that their games go well for Dayne St Clair. Yes. Because if they don't, then there's even more indecision, because then you've sort of gave him the leeway or the platform to go and prove that he's number one. And then, hopefully it goes well for him, touch wood. But if it doesn't go well for him, then there's more indecision, and the battle really is open again, heading into the start of the MLS season and then the March window.
I think it'll be better if it, sooner rather than later anyway. Yeah. I'm talking about March. I think even that could be too late. If it is now, I think that will be better. I think it will be better for St Clair, absolutely, yeah.
Dayne St Clair finished above Matt Freese and Yohei Takaoka in the goalkeeper of the year voting. Yeah. We've seen a lot of Yohei Takaoka. Yep. Whitecaps clean sheet record, had a really good season, also good with his feet. Yeah. Seems calm under pressure. Any shout for Takaoka should have got the award ahead of Dayne St Clair?
Yeah, I would say so. Very consistent this year for me. A really close one. I might have just went for Takaoka, I have to say. We've watched a lot of the Whitecaps, not as much Minnesota.
Takaoka actually got more votes from the players.
Right.
St Clair more from the media.
OK, fair enough. And that kind of makes sense, because St Clair is a more imposing goalkeeper. He looks the part, and certainly I think with media sometimes that counts with players.
But also you're following... And it's not, and again, it's not being disrespectful to anyone in any industry that you do, but you're going to follow a stats-driven... Yeah. You're not going to see every game.
No.
And when you play against the goalkeeper, you come off a game and you go, wow, he's good.
Yeah.
And St. Clair comes up with some big saves as well.
Yeah,
Those highlight saves that people see.
Yes.
And when he's good, he's really impressive.
Yeah. Highlight reels do. I always go back to even when I was coaching a little bit towards the back end of my career, and the coaches used to speak about highlight reel football. Even then, you know, young midfield players that get the ball out the feet and think they've got to be Steven Gerrard and hitting 60-yard passes, rakers all the time. That's not what the game's about. It's about keeping the ball and making those 5, 10-yard passes consistently. So if you're seeing the highlight reels constantly and Dayne St makes a worldy save, you might not necessarily see a drop catch. I'm not saying he's done that, but that's what you're not seeing, are you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talk about these awards. Kev, last week, I don't know if you saw it after the fact because you were not there when we talked to Sebastian Berhalter.
Yeah.
Oh, Sebastian, I put you in my team of the season. Oh, you're Irish.
And then he heard he was Irish, and then he loved him even more.
Well, I didn't even know. I didn't even know he had an Irish passport. Then I
know, but then when you heard he had an Irish passport, you loved him even more, didn't you?
I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I did my team of the year, and I put him in the team of the year.
Who was the goalkeeper?
The goalkeeper was Eustaquio.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
I kept that one quiet, didn't he?
Did you do goalkeeper of the year? Did you vote for that, or just because it's all the same vote, right? Did you?
I think it would have been Takioka I would have voted for then. Yeah, I think it would have been. Yeah, I can't remember. What do you have? Takioka was who I voted for. There were so many different categories actually that I didn't understand half of them. I put my team out. Well, do you remember we used to do the PFA Player of the Year? And you get lads sat round and it'd be say, us three are sat together and you'd be looking over Stevie's shoulder, he's writing down, I don't know, Thierry Henry player with it. Thierry Henry, what are you guys used to, for?
You know what I used to hate about that? Guys used to mess around. They would write, like, you know, a Scotland 11 and whatever, an Ireland 11. Or my United guys when they vote for Liverpool guys.
I used to put all my Irish teammates in my team of the year.
Did you see? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, Robbie Keane, Damien Duff.
You got to do it with some integrity and pick the best
Richard
team.
Dome, that was my team.
Get rid of your bias and just pick the best team.
Well, I think they're the best players, so that's why I voted for them, you know.
It's been 20 years since a Canadian goalkeeper won the MLS Goalkeeper of the Year. Pat Onstad.
I know, Pat was a great goalkeeper as well. Yeah. But, you know, I've always said it, guys, having worked with Dayne St Clair, his potential is enormous. It really is. But this is the time now. This is the moment. He's done it this year for his club. He's got to really keep pushing on because I do think that he has it all. He's got to just mature that little bit more and get rid of the mistakes and the decision-making that can be a little bit skewed at times when the pressure's really high. If he can do that, he'll win the battle because I think his potential and his upside is higher than Crépeau's.
Yeah, 28 as well. This is the thing, you're looking at that age-wise. He's coming now, or he's at the stage now where, I know keepers do mature later, but keepers at 25, 26 is when you're thinking, right, they're no longer a young goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And that potential that you speak about there has to be reached now.
Yeah.
Now it's now or never with him, I suppose, isn't it, when he's approaching 30.
On Race for the Roster this week, we focused on Stephan Eustaquio. He's hardly played recently. Coming off the back of a window where he did really well for Canada. You talked a lot about how well he played in that Colombia game. Is there any concern right now for someone like Stephan Eustaquio who, you know, said he would stick it out in Porto, hoping that he could convince them to give him the minutes? And we know he's a great trainer. He's going to be doing everything properly, and he still isn't getting in the side.
Yeah, it's concerning for sure. And I think it's the beginning of the end of his Porto career. He probably felt that in the summer. But he thought, I've been there a while. He's a fighter, Stephan Eustaquio. I'll stick it out. Europa League games. There was enough games coming up that I think, well, I know he felt like he would get more minutes. And in the last few weeks, it's been really difficult. So he'll be concerned. What I know about Stephan Eustaquio is that he's going to be doing more in the weights room, more in the physical stuff, more running, more stuff to make sure that he's ready for the November window. And he's in prime position that any minutes he gets, whatever shop window he's in with whatever clubs, Kev, that he can get the move that he wants, that gets him ready enough. Well, kickstarts his career and also gets him ready enough for the summer.
Yeah.
You even said a few weeks ago about Jonathan David, if he doesn't score, if he only scores once for Juventus, that he'd still be starting for Canada.
I don't want that to come true now.
Yeah, well, and he's not getting minutes either. We'll talk about him in a moment. But in that midfield role, you've got Stephan Eustaquio locked in.
Yeah.
Canada needs Stephan Eustaquio. But can you play in a World Cup if you've not played at club level and not got minutes starting?
There's not a chance if he doesn't get minutes that he's not going to go somewhere in January. Not a chance.
He's
going to force the move, or he's going to get a loan. He's going to go play somewhere.
No, but I'm saying he has to.
Oh, he has to.
Could this situation, if the World Cup was coming up in December and he's not played at club level for 3 months, can you go in and play a World Cup game?
Say Porto want 20 million for him, 10 million, whatever the fee is that they want for him, right? And a club doesn't or don't think that they're going to prepare or pay that. I think we're not prepared to spend that much because he's not played in a lot of games.
Loan move.
Loan move, right?
100%.
So a loan move happens. Where is that going to be then? Where would you see? Because there was talk of Turkey, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Does that light you up to say that what a move that would be?
But does it matter if he's playing? If he's playing for a good club.
Yeah. I think if he goes to Turkey or Holland or Belgium probably not likely, but if he goes to one of the, let's call it second-tier leagues, he's going to have to go to a real big hitter in one of the leagues.
A loan move might be great for him personally, just in terms of his career as well, that hopefully for him he starts at a World Cup, puts himself seriously in the shop window or put it in, that he then is almost saying to any team, and because of his fee, then it might be lower. I don't know what his contract situation is like at Porto at the moment, but all of a sudden then it becomes more, I don't know what the word I'm looking for here, but a club outside Portugal then look at him to go, we take him in for 5 million, and it's a no-brainer for us. Look what he did at the World Cup. Now,
also, when you talk about reference points in that Colombia game, right? That was a big shop window for him in terms of the move.
You said like he played with a point to prove.
We're talking about a month later, they're playing Ecuador at BMO Field.
Yeah, big game.
Big game for him, but he might not have played since the last game against Colombia.
Well, if I'm him, I'm on the phone to Jesse Marsh saying, I need this.
Yeah.
I need this for you.
And Jesse Marsh knows that, right?
Yeah.
And I need you to give me a
vote
of confidence.
I think it was telling in that Colombia game how badly he was missed at the Gold Cup. How badly he's been missed for the amount of games that he hasn't been able to play. I think it probably put it in Jesse Marsh's mind that we need him more than ever. Yeah. I know that we've spoken about Saliba and Swanier and all the guys.
Coney.
The number one simply is without a doubt Stephan Eustaquio, and he proved that in that game just with the high intensity of that match. And it was a really good test in every way, wasn't it? It was a great game to watch, even though there's no goals, and we're always judging games on goals and what Canada have done, not what they did against Romania. That to me was a way more competitive
especially
game.
in the middle of the park.
Yeah, and Jesse Marsh would have appreciated that game more than the Wales and Romania game in the last window before that.
Yeah, and he's playing guys like Rios and Benfica and Lerma in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He's playing against top players and he put in a top performance. But he needs these international games for sure for his own fitness. So he'll be doing everything he can to be ready for them. But he will absolutely leave Porto in some form or another in January if the lack of minutes continues. Now, anything can happen in football. It could be an injury tomorrow. He's in the Porto team. He plays, the next 10 games. But at the moment, he'll be concerned and he'll know that his future likely lies elsewhere.
I mean, going back to Qatar, I know there was interest from Premier League clubs at that time. We had spoken, you and I and Luke, around this, and it wasn't top end Premier League, but there was Premier League interest and prepared to go and take him. He obviously then when he landed at Porto and things like that, and he probably had to establish himself at least over a couple of years there at Porto.
What are you talking, like a West Ham?
Mid-team Premier League.
Or bottom like an Everton?
Yeah, Everton are going well. Everton are going well.
Do you see him in the Premier League, Kev?
It depends what team it would be. If I'm looking at the likes of Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth, what they have done in the last 2 years and the level and the style that they play, I could see him fitting. Brentford, I could see him fitting into one of those sides. And to be honest with you, I could see one of those taking him on loan.
OK, well, let's get that sorted then.
Yeah.
You've got Keith Andrews' number.
He's
at Brentford.
Get him into Brentford.
Let's get it done.
Yeah. We'll make the call then. We'll make the call, see what it is.
Kevin Kilbane gets...
La Liga, more suited to La Liga.
I could see that, absolutely.
I could see 10 teams...
But liking he's not going to go top end, is he?
No.
Brentford's a good shout, and he can then get the agent's fee, and he can use it to build a better fence for his chickens.
Because for anybody, with the chickens?
Well, you'd want a cut. He'd want his 2% off me, and you'd want your 2% and whatever. So
I'd rather just see these chickens safe.
Long-time viewers, listeners of the podcast know Kev started with 10 chickens. Then he was down to 9.
I can't believe you brought it up now.
Right,
yeah.
he was down to 9 because Fox got one.
Yeah, and I think 8 right away.
So then, it was 9,
Right.
and then I think he built the fence that was indestructible.
Oh, yeah.
He was not got this fence. The
holes
amount
in
of
it.
time he spent on the fence didn't put a roof on that they could fly out. But no, the amount of time Farmer Kev spent on the
chicken
fence.
wire. Do you know what chicken wire does?
Is it expensive? So then he lost the other 2. They was down to 7 because 2 got stuck under the bucket.
No, one got stuck on
one got stuck
One
under the
got stuck
bucket.
on
Anyway, now I was
back to
very
8. We were back
concerned
to
last
8.
week.
We were back to 8.
You're
You were
back
at
to 8?
8.
No, we were back to 8.
And
we
then what happened?
The last
'Cause
conversation we had, we were back to 8.
Yeah.
I've been saying my prayers this week. We're down to 7. We are down. We lost one this week. Yeah, again.
That's a shame.
Another one. The only thing, right? My next door neighbour to me has one of those cams out in the tree. With there's a lot of trees in behind my place, in between our houses, and the coyotes were knocking around. The foxes were knocking around.
But you built the fence.
Didn't you think it was a raccoon?
Possibly we had the raccoons out as well. So I don't know what it was. If I'm answering to your question there, but we're down to 7. Yeah, we are down to 7. So it's. We've said our prayers this week.
Okay. So
I'll tell you what surprises me, though.
We're talking about Stephan Eustaquio, now we're talking about chickens.
If a fox or a coyote got in...
No, they didn't get in.
Oh, so the
They
chicken
didn't
got
get
out.
in. Chicken probably got out.
So you probably should get somebody to build a real fence.
Yeah,
in,
so that's even worse. So it's not that a coyote
Neglect. It's
managed to
neglect.
get in his fence.
Do you not know
It's that
that
the chicken managed to fool him and get out of his fence.
Chickens don't fly, but they can just
Jump
hop
off.
and then flap and then land.
Yeah.
So he might have.
Did he tell you as well?
Great eggs, by the
Did
way.
he tell
Give me
you as
some
well?
eggs.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Farmer Kev went on a school trip with a load of kids to a farm. He was the chaperone.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I volunteered for my young daughter to go to the farm last week.
Corn, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had. I can't tell you that. All right, go on then. Right. So we get there, we get to the farm, and there was a maze, a cornfield maze. And the teacher, who's actually used to be my next door neighbour, so I'll say hi to Deanna. Her husband Brandon's a big soccer fan as well. Big soccer fan, actually. So anyway, Deanna said, Miss Simray said, look, guys, we're going in the cornfield. Don't pick the corn, right? Whatever you do, don't pick the corn. I kind of heard it, but didn't really listen because I was chaperoning some of the kids off the school bus. So, Stevie, I was like making sure the kids were all right, they were safe.
Right.
Anyway, so there was four little boys, typical boys, they're running around, running wild. One gets a bit of corn or whatever, and I didn't kind of hear what was said. Anyway, he goes, can you help me here and get some corn? So I go, yeah, of course. I get a bit of corn off for him. Give it in. So this kid's coming out of the cornfield with 10 bits of corn on his arm.
And he's been told he's not allowed any corn.
And he's been told. So, and all the kids are like throwing corn off each other's heads, battering each other, like they're throwing punches at each other, these kids. Anyway, what are you doing with the corn? As soon as we came out, Miss Imre. And so I'm sorry to Miss Imre.
You'd never be allowed
the
back.
kids that had the corn was my fault. It was totally my fault. I was the one that was encouraging to go and take the corn from the farmer's field, yeah. So anyway, there you go.
Anyway, Jonathan David.
Yeah.
Does he need a move in January?
Oh, he can't.
We said last week about the change of coach.
I think no, absolutely no. It depends what if Juventus may be trying to push that to try offset his wage
already.
If he's not playing.
If he isn't playing and we're hitting December, we look 4-6 weeks down the line from here. We get to mid-December.
Yeah.
You know as well as I do, Stevie. If you're not playing at this stage of the season, you're on to your agent now. Look, make sure that when that window opens, January 1st, I'm gone. I don't think that conversation's had between Jonathan David and his agent. I can't see it. I can't see Jonathan David wanting to push it. If I was him, I'd be knuckling down even harder, making sure that I'm putting myself in the coach's mind, training as hard as I can. All the basic things that you think you should be doing. But it all depends on what Juve are thinking. If Juve think that and they want to get him out, there could be an agent in place already trying to make that happen.
Well, one thing concerns me that he's become third choice. He's behind Vlahovic and Openda at the minute. So that's a big concern.
And they're changing a system. They're changing. They have changed the system.
And it's going to change again.
And it's not suiting him within that system anyway. Yes.
So maybe that helps him, but ultimately, we said that Tudor leaving's probably better for him, but we don't know if Spalletti's going to like him or if he has the club trust. And then there's the other fact that he was a free transfer. He's probably on big wages And there might be a way that Juve can actually kind of cash in here a little bit. Because he still has value. He's still going to command a good fee. You know, and so maybe they say...
Profit, instant
that's
profit.
what I'm saying. So they could offload them in January, potentially, and make, I don't know, 15, 20 million?
Plus, I would say.
There's teams in France that'll sign him in a heartbeat because of what he did there. You know, he's not going to probably top two. He's not going to Marseille or Paris, Saint-Germain.
It seems soon, but the only question is there's a World Cup in June. If it's a non-World Cup year, I'm probably with you in that, you know, you don't...
The one thing I would say, if he gets loaned, he's done. Honestly, if he gets loaned... Because, you know,
Done where?
At Juve.
Right.
If he gets loaned out from Juve, he's done at Juve. Because I've seen it so often with a player, they go on loan, unless it's a young guy, one of the young players that needs that move to go and play football. If you're an established player and you take that loan, you're done. And I've seen and heard it, people say that, you know, he's gone on loan, he goes back to Juventus next summer, and no, that's it. They've moved on. If they've loaned him out, they've given up on him. He's done. So he might still be a Juve player, and the only thing that Juve are thinking, they hope he does well wherever he goes to, so they can sell him. That's what's going to happen. So I hope not. I really hope not. I hope it doesn't happen. No, but it is concerning, as you say. If you're not playing right now so early on in the season, you're always given 10, 15 games, aren't you? Even, you know, the people that's in the know that's running football clubs know full well it doesn't happen. It's not an instantaneous, you know, given that a striker's going to start scoring goals and he's going to be doing what Haaland's doing or whoever's doing, wherever they go to. It's difficult. So you expect that there is a bit of time that he's got to take to gel, to make sure that he's settled in his home life and everything that goes with that. But with him not getting game time, with him only coming off the bench in some cases for 5 minutes, given what they've paid for him and how the time and effort they spent on getting him in there, I don't know. It is very concerning early on,
Well, a lot of the chat this week has been about players either with the national team or with their club team that are maybe not trusted or are given that kind of vote of confidence. That's what Juve need to do with him now. They've got to give him that vote of confidence. They've got to say, they've got to get him through the period by starting him every game, bringing him into the office, new managers, a nice reset to say, you're our guy, we know you're having a bit of a tough time, you're going to start the next 5, 8, 10 games and you're going to get that opportunity to be that number one striker. I think he needs that for his confidence at the minute. I think he needs someone who can settle him down and get him back to the football that we know he's capable of playing.
And Canada need him to be scoring goals. I know. I completely get what you say about he's still starting, even if he's only scored 1 goal all year. But he's not starting in confident mood, and he's not going to be the striker that Canada need unless he's playing every week at club level and scoring goals.
I think we touched on it in the last few weeks. For Canada, was it one goal from open play in 7 or 8? So I know he's been scoring goals.
I mean, we saw that lack of confidence for Canada as well, didn't we?
We did, in the last window. I don't think his lack of touches...
1 or 2 shots or something like that.
Lack of touches in the penalty area. I don't think he had a shot at all of any sort in the Colombia game. So it does have a knock-on effect that, you know, sometimes you come into the international setup and you've really got a point to prove. That clubs like Stephan Eustaquio, for instance, he's not been playing and you come in and you have to cement yourself. Jonathan David's not at that stage because he will start. So he doesn't necessarily have that point to prove, and he's playing a different role for Canada than he would do for his club, whether that would be Lille or Juve. So I don't know. I don't know what stage it gets to before we have to see Jonathan David really going out on a limb. I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, he's prolific and efficient when he gets his chances. That's what we proved, didn't we? Your analysis, Kev, on that was spot on, because when he's in front of goal, he scores. So it's a case of trying to get him more chances, whether it's at club level or international level, get him in the position. Whereas this 10 spot for Canada, I don't think it's working for him at the minute. He's doing all his work outside the box. Canada want him to be the man in the 18-yard box that the ball falls to, because he puts it away.
All those other 9s that we've constantly spoken about aren't producing. None of them are. None of them scoring consistently. None of them's really getting themselves in... Well, some of them are getting in positions, but the chances are being missed. The one guy, as you say, you would want there is David, and he's not getting them.
So race for the roster, you have David, because it's what you think Jesse Marsch will do in the 11. But would you have him up top and have maybe Kone behind, or... Like put the extra personally, in midfield?
100%.
I would,
There's too many good midfielders in this squad at the minute. You have to.
So what would you do? You'd have David up top, Kone off And then who would your two be? Eustaquio and...
Seguir or Saliba,
right?
Depending on the opponent.
That's where I think you could make that big argument for Seguir in there. You've obviously got him in there. You have to keep Seguir into your side, like I'm saying at the moment.
The reason I'm keeping him in there at the minute, Kev, is
I know why.
I'm waiting on the opponent.
You don't have to explain yourself. I know why. Explain yourself to
That's the whole point of the segment.
No, because we're waiting on the opponent, aren't we? You know, and if the opponent comes and it's a top 4 team and it's a big winnable game for Canada, obviously, it's going to be Coney and 2 strikers, I would say.
Yes.
But at the minute, I'm keeping them there as I don't want to chop and change till I see that opponent. And I do feel that Jesse Marsch is desperate to find a place in the 11 for Seguir. So, back to your point about the strikers, Luke. David up top, so he's the focal point. You might get less touches, but the 1 or 2 or 3 chances that you get at that level, you want every one of them to fall at his feet. Keep him there, keep him in the position to do that, and allow another midfielder to come in the team. There can be a rotation. Saliba and Coney, and even Eustaquio, who played really high against Colombia, are capable of being that higher midfielder at times. It gives you that flexibility, it gives you the extra body in there, and I think Canada will be a better team for it.
The one thing I would say is Jonathan David is he's not playing poorly as a 10. He's actually been a good link-up man.
Link,
His
general play has been
has been good. So you're analysing it, and I'm sure Jesse Marsch is analysing the games and thinking there's not much for him to worry about in terms of David's form, himself playing, but it is that lack of chances and openings for him in the penalty box that he's just not getting. And that's what I would think. If he's your main guy that's going to get you a goal.
We talked about Jonathan David and goal scoring and confidence of strikers, and you mentioned Haaland. Who I'm looking forward to seeing Norway at the World Cup. I really am, and looking forward to seeing Haaland on that big stage.
It's still... How is it going to work? The next window is 2, isn't it? So if they lost the first game... and Italy win both.
Or drew. Could they draw it?
Oh, they draw. Yeah, you're right. You are right. If Norway win the first game,
I can't remember their opponent, but I think
Norway has to get to the World Cup. We have to have Erling Haaland at the World Cup, and you know,
would you rather have Italy? Would you rather have Italy or
they'll get there as well. I've got confidence in them.
Good.
I know. I know you guys have written them off, but
I've never written them off.
No, I think so. I think they'll get there.
I've never written them off.
I'm the same.
That stat that you had about Haaland, who's in the goals again this weekend, I think it was 13 goals in 10 games. The record for first 10 games of a Premier League season is 15 goals, which was Haaland. And the top 5 people are Haaland, Les Ferdinand, Haaland. For how many goals you've got in the opening 10 games of a Premier League season.
More than a goal a game for Haaland, every one of them.
So is there any doubt right now that he is the greatest Premier League striker of all time?
It's a good question.
I mean, your good buddy Alan Shearer would probably have something to say about that.
You guys put me to bed on Maradona the week to say that...
Because that was a terrible opinion.
No, it's not a terrible opinion.
We can't go back to that. Can we just talk about Shearer and Haaland?
He's going to still be talking about this.
The reason why you put me to bed is you in particular said that... Diego Maradona only had a 4-year span, which he didn't. Diego Maradona had a 12-year span.
No,
so not as the best player in the world. But
anyway, just on to Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland has not had the long career that you guys want to talk about. I don't judge it from that. Erling Haaland, I think now he is going into the category of, if you're picking your best 11 as Premier League strikers, Haaland, I think, well, he goes ahead of Shearer now in my eyes. He goes ahead of Shearer. He's up there with Thierry Henry now. Even Drogba. I love Drogba. Drogba's my favourite. But Drogba's record is nowhere near the level of Haaland. And if you look
Did you say Haaland's above Thierry Henry?
No,
with Thierry Henry.
He goes up with Thierry Henry.
With Thierry Henry.
Thierry Henry's one for you, or Drogba's one?
We're not talking Rooney here. So, you know, Cristiano Ronaldo played in different positions. So if I'm looking at my top 5, I've got Shearer, Rooney, Henry, Haaland, Drogba. They're my 5. And I think that Haaland and Henry are the best 2 now. I think so, yeah.
Haaland and Henry are the top 2?
Top 2, yeah. And I go with a 4-4-2 just for simple reasons. My 2 strikers would be Haaland and Henry. Haaland and Henry, yeah.
OK, do your top 5 in order, one more time. Henry?
Henry 1. Haaland 2. Shearer just on record alone. Rooney, then Drogba.
Where's Harry Kane?
Drogba, then Rooney.
Where's Harry Kane?
No.
Harry
Kane's
out.
Not in the Premier League. Not in the Premier League.
Harry Kane outside that. I'm too big of a Drogba fan and played against Drogba. Drogba's all-round game. I think if we're talking overall game, I'd have Drogba number 1 because Drogba's overall game, what he brought was sensational, absolutely sensational.
But then you're just picking Haaland on his goals, aren't you? Really?
Well, no, not necessarily now because I think even this season, watching
he's been
Haaland,
better this season.
I think he's better his overall play.
You just said if it was all-round game, you'd have Drogba at number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm talking hold-up play. You know,
but that's what the best striker in the Premier League. Isn't that about the all-round game?
No, it's everything all mixed into one.
Yeah.
Your goal-scoring record goes above everything. Put your goal-scoring record there, and then everything else can catch up to that sort of level, and then you're starting to build a complete player.
For me, there has to be an element of success in the Premier League as well, and then the reason I have Shearer as number 1 is because...
You're a Newcastle fan.
Newcastle fan, you played alongside him, next teammate.
But listen,
go on.
What I'm going to say is the reason he's number 1, one of the main reasons, is he's the top scorer.
Yeah.
All right, for sure. And he won a league on his own with a team that weren't the best in the league. That season at Blackburn, go back and watch the goals he scored. I know. Back and look at how good he was.
I used to play in the youth team at Preston, and I'd go the afternoon watch
Shea Given used to talk to me about this all the time. He'd be watching as a youngster in the stands most of the time, and he was like, he's done it again. He scored that goal where he receives it in, and he just gets half the yard to the right, and he whips it in the top corner.
That was against Spurs. Was that game?
He did it every week. He did that goal. He scored that goal all the time.
No doubt.
And he's a record. And, if you let me finish before you interrupt me, he picked up these injuries. His ankle was serious. His knee was so serious. His pace dropped dramatically. His game changed. And he still found a way to be efficient, to score, to be prolific. He is mentally easily the best striker that ever played in the Premier League.
So Shearer is number 1 because Stevie's a Newcastle fan. Who's your second, third, the top 5?
I'll say Shearer 1, Henry 2.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Not the longevity Shearer, played in better teams, but was definitely a more complete player than Shearer. But back to the old one game, who do you want to play? I'm picking Shearer in his prime.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Shearer, Henry. I think I'll go Rooney 3. I'll go...
No Sergio Aguero here as well, by the way.
No, I know. I'll go Kane 4.
Second all-time goal scorer in the Premier League behind Shearer.
Yeah.
Harry Kane.
I'll go Kane 4, and Kane would have broke Shearer's record. If he had stayed, he might come back and still do that.
You don't even have him in your top 5.
And I'll go Haaland. I'll go Haaland 5. Because if Haaland keeps... I mean, obviously, if Haaland keeps going the way he's going, he's going to be 1. But it's too early to pick him as 1. And another thing I'll say, and I think City will win the league this year, the Premier League, and it'll be down to Haaland if they do that, then that moves him up significantly because then he's carried his team to a Premier League trophy.
Right.
What he's saying.
Yeah.
You've got a response, haven't you?
No, and I just want to say something on it. I don't know if you saw Wayne...
Haaland at 5, though, by the way. Don't let that slip out.
No, I'm
You've
1,
got to
he's
look
5.
at the longevity and the history.
It's not longevity.
He's been there 5 years now.
You're talking longevity, right?
The other guys...
How many Premier League titles has Haaland got compared to Thierry Henry? And I don't know the answer. But has Haaland not got more than Thierry Henry?
How many has Alan Shearer got in comparison to Erling Haaland?
Yeah, Shearer's got 1 significant one.
Yes.
On his own.
No, he had Chris Sutton.
Oh, come on. He had a partner that supported him, but he was undoubtedly the best striker in the league that year. We're going back to a different era,
but I'm going to throw something out here. Wayne Rooney said last week, I don't know if you saw his Wayne Rooney's got his podcast out now. We're going to promote someone else's podcast.
Wayne's good on TV.
But Wayne said he had 2 seasons playing as a number 9 for Man United and he scored 30-plus goals in both seasons.
Yeah.
He said, I got bored, I didn't enjoy it. Didn't like playing as a 9.
He preferred the
I just feel as though I didn't get involved in games enough.
He liked assists better, didn't he?
Yeah, he wanted to be the player that was involved in everything. He said, I prefer playing out wide or whatever. It was going to have more involvement in the game, he said. And he was talking about the definition of a number 9 and how disciplined you've got to be, how he actually worded it as it's a bit boring, that you've got to almost pick and choose your moments when to go. You've got to occupy centre-halves. And we speak about this regularly, don't we? That you might not get a lot of touches in the game, but when that touch comes, you've got to be on it and to score straight away immediately,
So apparently Henry and Haaland both have 2 Premier League titles each.
Right.
But you know who has more goals and assists than Henry in the Premier League? Mo Salah.
Okay.
You didn't even mention him.
Not on my list.
He's not a striker, is he? He's not a 9.
More than a winger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not a 9. We're talking solely nines, I think, here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, Thierry Henry often played. Well, he played down
Not
the
at
middle more.
Arsenal.
Yeah, he did go to the left.
He did go
you're
at
right.
times.
Yeah.
You're right. But Henry, everyone would probably call him a 9, wouldn't they?
For sure.
They would say
By
he's
the
a
time
9.
he was at Arsenal, for sure.
So I'm going with Henry, who probably
Henry
had the
was-
biggest. If you
Henry
mention
was
one player to
incredible.
me, one player who I dislike
Henry
more,
was
Thierry Henry.
I did a game at Highbury towards the end of the season. Henry scored. I think he scored. He might have scored 2 or 3 that day, but one of the goals against Leeds that he scored, I was calling it on the. Was that towards the end of the season when?
5-0. I was playing.
I'd completely forgotten.
I was playing. He scored 4. He scored 4.
Yes.
I was playing. He was going to say the centre backs were terrible. He got now he's going to change his whole story.
No. What about he cuts in from the left and he smacked it in the top corner? Was that maybe that was a different game?
He was incredible that game.
That was
He
the year they went
unplayable.
down.
Yeah. Unplayable. Friday night at Highbury.
Yeah, there were a couple because the year
Unplayable.
before Leeds had gone to Arsenal. Right at the end of the season and needed a win to stay up.
Yeah,
it was the last 2 or 3
yeah.
games. That was the game I was actually thinking about there. I'd forgotten all about the one when Stevie got them relegated.
Oh no, the last goal was the best because we were beaten by that point, but he was breaking free. I don't know, 5-10 minutes to go, and Gary Kelly, your mate, what a player Gary Kelly was, trips him up. And he's fallen over, and he still manages to stab the ball with his right foot over Paul Robinson's shoulder. You know, sort of 20 yards out. The goalie's coming out into the back of the net. It was just like, it was another level.
Yeah.
You know, it was one of the games where you've been absolutely destroyed as a defender. So normally you're sad, you're disappointed.
Clock watching for 20 minutes, aren't you?
Oh, 20 minutes. At Highbury, it's like 40 minutes.
End the game now.
And you're just going like, actually, that was horrendous, but it was also the biggest privilege ever because we can tell stories and we can watch games, but when you're actually out there and you have the privilege of being embarrassed by that guy and you're trying to come up with a way to stop him.
Yeah, I know.
It's mind-blowing, Luke.
Yeah.
You can't even believe, you know, you think, oh, what a player. When you're out there and you're next to him, he's in another world. It's phenomenal. So we come in at the end, we've been beaten 5-0, we're trying to win games, we're down the bottom of the league, in the relegation zone. And we sit there, I'll never forget, we sit there and guys are slowly taking off their boots and you can hear the crowd go by at Highbury, can't you? You're changing rooms right next to the road. It was amazing. 5 minutes go by, not a word. Nobody says a thing. The captain, the manager, Eddie Gray, nobody says a word. I'll never forget Eddie Gray eventually, after about 5 minutes, he just sort of looks at us and he goes, we actually didn't play that bad. We were actually okay and we lost 5-0. It could have been worse. That's how good they were.
We've been there. What I was going to say to you there as well, do you remember when every team, every manager has their way of preparing a team to face an Arsenal, whoever it would be? I remember it was Henry when whether it was playing for Sunderland, Everton, whoever it would be, when it came to Henry, and managers have specific ways to go, look, Henry's the main guy, so try and stop the ball being played to him, stop the feed of the ball, whatever.
Yeah.
And Henry was always like, you can't stop him. You can't stop him. No matter what, you know, you try and get ways to stop the team, Arsenal. I always remember sometimes we played fullbacks really narrow, keep almost like 4 tight centre-halves in games. You're stopping the runners from fullback going forward. So that would have been my responsibility. Whatever you do, don't pass the fullback on to your fullback.
Stay
with him
the back six.
the whole way. Yeah, exactly. Just to prevent them. But Henry, he'd go and play as a 6. He'd go and drop off. And he'd go on the left wing, as you say, go on the right wing. You just couldn't predict where he was going to go.
Yeah.
And it was very new to football in the Premier League for Henry to do that. You know, played against his strike partner, another one, the very best. We're not even mentioning Dennis Bergkamp.
Oh, man.
What a player Dennis Bergkamp was. And that relationship, Bergkamp and Henry...
I think he might be the most underrated player of his generation, Bergkamp.
My word.
Guys that played against him, certainly with him, always have great things to say, but generally people don't talk about him in the breath of some of these other guys.
I mentioned 5 names, I mentioned Aguero, then obviously it's an afterthought, Bergkamp.
Yeah.
And
Remember, he didn't like to fly and he would drive to European games.
Yeah.
They would actually drive, he'd have to leave 2 days before.
I think he had a bad experience at USA 94, didn't he?
Yeah.
I believe he had a bad experience on a flight, and that's what put him on flying.
Yeah. Thierry Henry, though, so just
Genius,
circling
guys.
back.
Genius.
I think it's 3 votes for #1 greatest Premier League striker of all time.
Well, he said
Thierry Henry.
Shearer.
No, I'm
Oh,
Shearer.
you said Shearer?
I'm still Shearer.
No.
Shearer.
Henry.
So Henry's your second,
Yeah, very close second. But
It used to be crazy thinking. We have the privilege of talking to coaches before games in MLS, and it would be Thierry Henry. Unfortunately, it was during the COVID time, right? So a lot of the stuff was at distance, so we'd have phone calls with Thierry Henry or whatever, and you'd just be sitting in your kitchen dealing with your kids, and it'd be like, all of a sudden, within about 30 seconds, up pops Thierry Henry.
Such a presence.
Shut up, to Thierry Henry.
I know.
It's like,
so I wouldn't be
He
excited.
could remember every single... I
never.
did a piece with him once when he came with the Red Bulls to Toronto,
Yeah.
and I sat and did an interview with him, and we talked about those games, that the Leeds games.
Yeah.
And he can remember every single
Yeah,
detail,
yeah.
of
No, he
every
knows
single
everything.
minute of the game.
Yeah.
I had a great chat with him once. I actually went to New York when I was at Wigan to visit Carl Robinson, who's my mate for Sunderland, obviously ex-Whitecaps manager. And Robbo was playing at New York at the time, so I went for a few days and I visited Robbo and Thierry was training, and he sort of nodded over to me. No way he knew what my name was, but I guess he sort of half recognised my face.
He recognised you from that day,
Yeah,
He recognised your
like,
back.
This is the idiot that I've destroyed that day at Ivory. And numerous other times in England as well, by the way. But anyway, come over and, it was like the best hour of my life. I couldn't get away from him. He just wanted to chat about stories. He was telling me all about Barcelona and how in training, if you gave the ball away in training at Barcelona, you were like nervous because you never got it back for like 3 minutes. And he talked about how he felt playing with that great Barcelona side, which shows you how good they guys were.
I know.
That Henry was actually nervous and sort of like up for training.
I'll tell
had
you
to
one, Thierry Henry. I hadn't seen him since obviously the Ireland-France game, and we know what Henry.
I forgot all about that. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, there you go.
And you still make him number one.
Well, he's the best.
That was the worst thing.
That is very good.
He went way down in my estimations from that one. Anyway, I've not got a lot of time for him, but I turned up I was.
We should get him on the podcast
one of the train stations in London. I don't know, King's Cross or whatever it would be, and I was in a hotel right by it, and he was sat with Antonio Reyes. Was it Jose Antonio Reyes, the ex-Arsenal striker? The two of them were in there. So he saw me, and he came over. And I just didn't want to talk to him. It was still too raw. It was only 3 or 4 years before, and I'd finished my career at that stage. Cost me a second World Cup in my head. And he never mentioned it, but it just came over just to say, hi, how you doing, whatever, what you doing now, and things like this, and give me all your good career and all that. Just give me the niceties, because Thierry's such a nice guy, as we know. Anyway, that was my experience afterwards, and I haven't met him since, so there you go. They are.
Not as frosty as when we saw Ian Wright and Roy Keane in Qatar.
Roy wouldn't talk to you. That's another story.
Right, he was good. Talking about great players, what was that quote from Paul Scholes this week about Mo Salah?
Best quote ever. It's one of the funniest quotes I've ever read. I didn't actually see him saying it, but I read it. So Paul Scholes said of Mo Salah, he said, he is the worst player ever to be considered the best player in the world. And, when you think about it, it's so funny seeing it. He said he's messy. A lot of the balls bounce off him. You see him. Now, what he's trying to say was that, there's a lot of players that we've spoken about. We spoke about Messi and Maradona, whoever, and these players that have been considered, that we'll all debate, he's the best in the world. And he thinks he's the worst ever to be considered in that category, which is... if you watch Mo Salah this season, you can't really argue with it, to be fair, can you?
No.
He's having a bad season. He scored, I think, at the weekend, didn't he?
He scored his 250th goal for Liverpool
250 Liverpool goals. Can you imagine 250 Liverpool goals and people are still questioning him?
250 Liverpool goals, and you didn't even consider him for one of your best.
He's not
a
nine.
striker.
He's not a 9. That's why.
We didn't say.
Yeah, we were talking 9.
You said strikers.
Goal scorers.
9s.
No.
9s.
Okay. Has he ever been considered the best player in the world, though?
I'm sure some people would argue that, I think they would. I mean, he came close to...
Well, Kev's, one good season, right? One good season. And then you could be the best player in the world.
Well, I was going to make an argument on that one, though, before, and it came to me, and I've got to say it now. If we're talking like... And we always talk back, because we played Premier League, so we always want to go Premier League. And I'm not talking about... I'm talking about the best Premier League 11. Gareth Bale would be 100% in my Premier League 11. And he only had 2 really good seasons. But if I'm talking a player at the very, very best...
head and shoulders above the rest.
Gareth Bale, 100%.
What about Hazard, then?
Hazard would be on the other side. Where's Ryan Giggs? Where's whoever, So there you go. But Bale was sensational, But anyway, but just going back to the Mo Salah thing here. And I think...
Is he going to come good this year, Kev? Is he going to...
Liverpool have
salvage his season.
Liverpool have got to come really good, haven't they? That's the thing that
they almost have to go on a run where they they barely lose a game.
Yeah, was that the first team? I think they lost 5 in the bounce.
Yeah.
I mean, champions
Couple
losing
games
5
as
in the
well,
bounce, 4 or 5 in the bounce. Unbelievable, really.
I don't think that there's something missing. I don't think they're going to go in the kind of run that they need to go.
Look, I know,
even though they have all that talent.
That team had a terrible summer, and you can't get away from that.
Yeah.
Is Diogo Jota's,
Yeah. I was thinking about that
awful,
the other day,
awful
actually.
death and everything that happened
that.
around that. It has to have an effect. You've been around dressing rooms with, obviously not at that magnitude, but when things go against the team or against an individual, it's hard for the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
Because you do become so close.
Yeah.
I know they've made a lot of signings and I know they've changed that team a lot as well that's going to hinder that. But that has got to have an effect, Stevie.
I think
you can't get away from that, can you?
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody that compartmentalise things better than football players, but that was a horrific trauma for everyone involved, but especially guys that, you think how often these guys spend time with each other. It's more than their families. They're playing that many games that they probably had a way of kind of coping with it at the time, but the trauma of that, I think, has had some serious effect on a number of these guys. Probably not the only reason that Liverpool are struggling, but certainly a factor in it, I would say.
I agree, yeah.
We talked last week about that Real Madrid game, right? And you said it was... You talked about Vinny Jr. and all that kind of stuff.
I think I used the word shithousery.
That was the word that you used. But there was fallout after that game, and Vinny Jr. apologised, right?
Yeah. Well, he got substituted and he's, waved his arms around. Xabi Alonso's first El Clasico. So there was a lot of pressure. I mean, obviously, that's the most high-profile game. Interestingly enough, I saw something this week. The last 5 Super Bowls, audience has accumulated 550 million. That game got 650 million audience just from one game. So it says it all where football is in comparison to any other sport around the world, doesn't it? Ours is #1 and we know that, but that's for another day. But just in comparison, just going back to the game, Luke, Vinny Jr.'s doing me head in anyway. He's done me head in for a long time. He annoys me, right?
So, what did you say last week? I think you said he's a player you hate the most or dislike the most.
No, I didn't say that. Yeah, I think I was...
You had some kind of quote last week.
I was going to say... I don't want to see someone fail, but
that was it.
Yeah, and I don't, but he's annoying me.
I believe you compared them to Neymar.
Neymar, yes.
Yeah.
Neymar, the player that everyone is annoyed with, and we're in a World Cup year as well going into it. That we know how Vinny Jr. is going to be when he's starting for Brazil next summer in the World Cup. Annoying me. So he's come out and he's made this statement this weekend. I don't know if anyone saw. They beat Valencia 4-0, Kylian Mbappe. I mean, again, lads.
Brilliant again.
Unbelievable. Jude Bellingham was brilliant as well. But anyway, Mbappe, brilliant. So Mbappe gives him... Mbappe could have scored a hat-trick. They win a penalty, a second penalty, because Mbappe had already scored a penalty. Gives it Vinny Jr. Vinny Jr. misses. Now, the telltale signs are already there for certain players. When a player starts to kick up a fuss, i.e. Alexander Isak, who we knew straight off the bat that Alexander Isak, as soon as he did what he did at Newcastle, he was done. But Stevie wasn't having it, of course, because he's obviously the Newcastle man. When things happen, like last week, and he's had to make a statement to correct his attitude. Mistakes. How do you say mistake? It's there with Vinny Jr. He's like that anyway. It's going to happen again.
Alonso won't take that.
No, he won't. And the club don't take it. Real Madrid are too big for that. Basically, I think the statement said that no one's bigger than the club, and I apologise to the fans. I apologise for my behaviour.
I'm sure he wrote every single word of it.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah, from the heart.
Forced to do that by his PR team or by Real Madrid?
From the heart, Steve. From the heart. Of course it was.
No, seriously, do you think Real Madrid asked him to do it?
I think probably the president. I think the president's asked him to do it. So,
and his PR team should think that as well.
His PR team have come out to help him out, of course. But I don't know. This looks to me, this is one of the most interesting ones around Europe. There's still massive talk that Saudi was agreed last year and he's going to get, I don't know, $10 million a week or whatever it's going to be to go to Saudi. So it's an interesting one now, I think, looking at it and where you see Vinny and how it's going to go, because he's had his nose put out that he was the main guy there at Real Madrid. Kylian Mbappe's come in, still talk that he was going to play on the left, but Mbappe has said, I'm going to be the 9. And I think he's had his nose put out of joint in a big way. And I just think I honestly think the beginning of the end was probably this summer with Vinny Jr. when he's talked himself. I think he cancelled contract talks, saying he wants to concentrate on other things. That said it all to me.
Yeah.
And the beginning of the end now, whether it's going to be next summer or in this January window, I think Vinny will be gone. I think he'll be gone.
Saudi, summer. 100%.
You talk about Vinny coming off and not being happy that he came off. At the end of the Spurs game this weekend, I don't know if you saw, Jed Spence and was it Van der Ven?
Yeah.
Both walked past Thomas Frank, who said something to them, and ignored him.
Yeah.
Completely ignored the manager. And Thomas Frank turned around, stared at them, and they just walked off.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good look for those
all.
players.
No,
or
not
for
at
Thomas
all.
Frank.
Not at all. Not when the camera's picking everything up now as well, isn't it?
Have you ever had that kind of situation? You ever blank a manager or anybody that you know?
I would never, but I've had teammates that have done it. I've had teammates that have reacted to being subbed.
Yeah.
Or quick one, but I once had a big incident at BMO Field. We had a Brazilian guy play for us called Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah. So it was
ex-Dallas guy.
So back in the day, obviously, sub would always come over and shake hands with the other sub as they went off.
Yeah.
Obviously, nowadays, they go off the nearer side. Back then, he went off on the far side and he threw his hands up and he had this reaction. I was fuming. Captain, couldn't wait for the end of the game. So as I come in at the end of the game, I just went right for him. In fairness, he came back at me. So there's 5 guys between us in the changing room. We were almost fighting in the changing room because of his reaction. Disrespect towards his teammates. So
that's the one thing.
You've got to set the tone. I think as a club, as a coach, you have to
Captain.
say, and I think for Thomas Frank's point of view, maybe being on the field there at the end is a mistake in itself because guys are emotional and guys do things that they regret or that they might look back on and go, I shouldn't have did that. So you try not to put yourself in a situation as a coach where you have to address it.
Yeah, I know.
Because now he's in
but
a
the
tough
manager
spot.
goes on the pitch usually.
Yeah.
No,
goes out to shake hands with the referee.
Goes
out to the referee.
The manager shouldn't be going on the pitch, in my opinion.
Shake hands with our manager.
Doesn't it happen these days every single
Jurgen Klopp has
game?
started it because they want the attention. They want the limelight. No, look, the coach...
You've got to go and applaud the fans.
No. That's the most overrated thing in football, lad, as well. When everyone asks to go over and applaud the fans, show your appreciation, get off.
You should applaud the away fans.
No, I agree. I agree.
Travel and spend good money to go to the game.
Right.
You just said it's the most overrated thing in
It is the most
football.
overrated thing.
If I'm in the away end, I want my team to come over and applaud me for going.
You give them a quick clap and you go.
You think it's for show?
Of course it's for show. I've seen so many players that have been all for show, and they're the ones that let you down.
Yeah.
They're the ones that really let you down.
Do you remember the
because
names?
It's all for show. No, I've got no names for it. But I tell you now, they're on it. It's true. And
he's sitting on that chicken.
Jurgen Klopp has started something now that every coach think that they've got to do. They've got to go onto the pitch and we've got to applaud the fans and we've got to have this big celebration, this big party.
Agree.
It's the most overrated thing ever because it becomes so false, and it is false.
Yeah.
Like the players absolutely do appreciate the supporters anyway, and you give them the appreciation. You give them a quick clap, an acknowledgement, get off the pitch. The manager shouldn't be going on to applaud the fans after a game. No, they shouldn't be, because the manager's going on, and what about the coaching staff behind him? Everyone wants a piece of the action, don't they?
Like to get on the camera,
everyone likes to be on the camera. I go to the
some assistant coaches like to get on the camera.
Who scored the hat-trick today? I'll go next to the guy. Well done, well done. Like it annoys
Any
me.
names there or not?
Oh, you know they are. But I mean, it's just it becomes false, and you know there's an agenda behind it.
Yeah.
It doesn't come from the heart.
That's the change, though. The manager, these days, the manager always goes on to shake hands with the ref.
The best managers ever did that, did they? Alex Ferguson did.
I'm just saying, maybe that was...
Trapattoni, all these guys that were there. No. You go... It's about the players. If the players go and do that, appreciate
Does Ancelotti do that? I don't see...
No.
I can't remember Ancelotti going on the field. But I guess he's that last generation.
Stevie, do it when you win a trophy. You win a trophy, the coach absolutely should be with them. Not every game. The coach is going on there, right? It's about the players. In my opinion, the coach has to step aside. Let the players go on. If they win, go and take your glory.
Yeah.
As I said, give them a bit of appreciation, but get off the pitch. The coach or the manager, whoever it would be, should be down the tunnel, waiting. It shouldn't be about him. The managers are making it about themselves for that, and the coaches are too.
I would love to have seen Kev come to MLS, where there's a few teams. The Whitecaps have done it. I was watching Columbus Cincinnati last night. Columbus winning the playoffs.
Yeah.
All the players go and stand in front of the supporters, arms round each other and sway, and they sing.
They sing a song.
They sing a song together.
Yeah.
I would love to have seen a manager come across to Kev and say, "Thanks for signing. By the way, when we win games, you go and sing a song."
You got to go sing a song.
Yeah, and Columbus have won the MLS Cup as well, haven't they? Yeah, they're doing it. They have the right to do that, aren't they? Do that when you win the MLS Cup.
No,
do
but
that
every
when
week,
you win
every
something.
time you win something.
Yeah, no, exactly. You don't.
The other thing is the picture in the
far
dressing
too much.
rooms after games when you win. Now, I don't have a problem with these things, by the way. Just enjoy your life.
Well,
Just enjoy it.
Listen, I understand the picture.
This guy,
it's a social media thing.
But
it's a big team effort,
right,
You know
as well as I do how hard it is to win a game.
Yeah.
At top level, it's hard to win a game. So I understand you appreciating things like this, right? But if you're doing a little selfie, say I'm sat beside you guys, go on, we'll do whatever. Don't line up to do a full team picture after winning a game.
It's a social media
Stevie,
thing, isn't it?
come on, man.
It's for the team accounts.
Stevie, do it when you win the trophy at the end of the season. Do it when you've stayed up, when you've achieved something. When you're up against it. You've got 10 games to go. You had it at Wigan. You've got 10 games to go. You're relegated. You're done. And you pull something out of the hat and you stay up. And it saves the club $1 billion or whatever. Yeah. Do it then. Don't do it after
It's
beating.
a different era.
I don't agree with it. I don't agree with the big kind of tour around the field for the home team after a general Premier League game. I think an away game, the away team should go and salute the fans that travelled. I've always felt that.
Give them a clap.
Again, I'm with you, Kev.
Do it.
You don't have to
off.
go like 10 foot for the fans. You go 20 yards away, you give a clap, you say thank you, and then you walk off. You don't milk it.
Because I've given them a clap and I walked off in 10 seconds, does that mean I don't appreciate them?
Yeah.
I'm trying my nuts off on the pitch for you guys anyway. Yeah. I want to show you that it means something. Do it on the pitch, not off the pitch after the game's finished.
What about something like TFC and Canada both did with the drum at the supporters section?
Yeah, I don't love that. No, I don't.
You wouldn't go and bang the drum with the supporters?
If I've won the MLS Cup, yeah.
No, but if you've just won, like...
Every game.
Yeah, no, don't do it every game. Why would you do it every game?
Every win.
Oh, because...
It's too much.
But it is too much, because...
You guys are so boring.
I know, we're in another era, but...
People say I'm dull and boring because I don't like to dance, karaoke. There's a lot of things that I don't like, but I think this guy's challenging me now.
I like to dance and do karaoke, though.
Yeah. No, that's the Guinness talking.
Times.
On Kev's list now, 5 things that Kev hates the most. Grown men wearing backwards caps.
Fair enough, I'm with them.
Over 21s playing video games.
Backward caps.
Video games.
Over 21s playing video games.
I'm with them on that.
Absolutely, no.
And now we can add to the list post-game celebrations.
Post-game celebrations, absolutely, yeah. I'm
a bit grumpy there, I would say.
Do you really? Do you really think that?
I
know deep down in your heart, you're with me there, but you're trying to make out that you're being this nice guy, Stevie, again. You're coming out, I'm telling you, lads. Do it when you achieve something. When you achieve something.
Yeah.
I understand, right? You're in the MLS
it takes away the achievement, doesn't it? If you're doing it every single game.
Of course it does.
Okay.
You make the playoffs in the MLS, you've achieved something. Great, we're in it together. Let's go and win the MLS Cup now. So you have the celebration, last game of the season. When you win a game in a playoff, like, Vancouver have done the series, brilliant. You can have a bit of but you move on, you've got a 3-week break. I understand that. Not after the first game. Vancouver win, was it 2-0, they beat Dallas. Was it the first game they beat? So I'm just using Vancouver as an instance. So 3-0, beat Dallas, 3-0 in Vancouver. Clap the fans, get off the pitch. You're done.
Yeah.
Do not get ready for the next one. Then you win the series, you're done. Get on to the next one.
Even a playoff game. You win a playoff game, like that first playoff game. You don't celebrate with your fans.
No.
There's some little kid going home in Vancouver thinking that's the best night of my life.
Yeah,
at the end of it, I'm remembering the players coming over and
you've still got work to do.
Do you know
you've still got work to do.
The players, yeah. And do you know
a
what?
series,
if the little kids come over and the kids ask for your jersey after the game and things like that, yeah, you take your jersey off and you do it on the slide. You do it quietly. You do things for people quietly. You don't make a show of it.
Yeah.
Do you want to be that guy? It annoys me. It annoys me. Everyone does everything for show now. It's you want to be seen. I'm the guy that's clapping every single aspect of the crowd. You show your appreciation on the pitch. Show your appreciation by going through someone, putting your head on the line, getting six stitches in your head.
You've got to save your energy to repair that fence.
I need to save my energy now. I'm getting all work.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we're saying.
We've got to wrap this up.
You get far work to be done when you get back.
Yeah. And if you find out that you're down below 7 chickens next week, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, I know. I'm desperate for a pea now as well. So anyway.
Who builds a fence for chickens that doesn't have a roof? Hey?
Of course, that's what
you got to build that roof.
As I said, if you had a chicken wire. Lads, come on.
I will see you all next week.
Cheers.